Michelle is actually our guest host who I asked to step in and help when I did this ice skating like I was a teenager, and I'm not, clearly. So Michelle's going to take over interviewing for a little bit here. Michelle is an amazing marketing strategist. So
if you have a book in your future, or if you are ready to write your next book, well, then this segment is for you. Today we have Tara Alemany, who is the co-owner of Emerald Lake Books, which is a hybrid publishing company that provides a unique blend of business coaching with publishing to help its authors succeed. Whether it's your first book or whether it's your 50th, Tara combines her business and publishing knowledge to help her authors set and attain goals with their readers. She is also an author of herself of the award-winning book, Publish with Purpose, and serves on the board of directors for the Christian Writers Critique Group. So Tara, welcome. We are so happy to have you today.
Thanks, Michelle. I'm really excited to be here.
Well,
It's been some great speakers so far. I love listening to Stu.
It's been so great, and I have loved all of it. And I'm super excited to hear your conversation today. I've also published a couple of books, and I used a hybrid publisher, and I love the experience and thought that it was great. And so I'd love for you to share with us. Today we're really talking about how to build your business using a book, and how that can, and it's come up in conversation a few times today. So talk to us about, if somebody has never written a book before, why do you feel like this is such a great platform for building your business?
Sure. We've done a lot of surveys through the years of small business owners and entrepreneurs. And one of the things that we always consistently have come back in the survey results is that they need more leads, they need greater brand visibility, and they need greater cash flow. And the thing is that when you write a book, it becomes part of, it's another product that you can sell in addition to other products and services that you have. And the result is you end up creating more cash flow for yourself, not so much from book sales, but from the way you design the book and the way you position the book, because the book is going to create brand visibility for you. So it's really important when you first start writing the book that you focus on who your ideal reader is. And you want that ideal reader to match your customer avatar. Who do you want to be attracting? Who do you want to work with? What problems do they solve, or what problems do they have, and how are you going to solve them? And so typically you want to think about that customer path where they currently are to where they want to go. What are the 3 to 5 steps that are going to get them from where they are to where they want to go? And you write your book around that. You focus on that one pain point that they're trying to solve and resolve. And throughout there, you have the opportunity, because you're building a trust factor with them, because you're helping them solve a problem, you have the opportunity to offer additional things. So for instance, you may offer a checklist. You may offer an additional video that's a companion to the book. There's all sorts of things that you can do within the book itself. And by offering those additional things, you now have the opportunity to get them on your mailing list, where you can continue to nurture and grow that relationship. But sometimes just having the book, having it on Amazon, and making sure that it's incredibly visible and well placed within Amazon and other online retailers can make a huge difference as well. I like showing this particular book because it's called The Future of Omnichannel Retail. And when I first, I'm holding it in the wrong place because you can't see the author's name. It's Lionel Binney. And the reason I like telling this story is because Lionel came to us with no mailing list, no website. He had worked in a very niche industry for a long time. And when I first spoke with him, I had no clue what omnichannel retail was. So how do you create brand visibility in a market that nobody's heard of? And we worked with him. We went and we looked on in retail sites and on Amazon to see what books currently were available for this topic. And there was like very few. They were mostly Japanese or German, and they really had bad covers. So we focused on creating a book listing description that would make it really easy for the search engines to find them, a cover that was engaging, and we did Amazon advertising to it. And within the first 2 weeks of the book being released, Lionel got his first fan letter. Now, Lionel lives in Briarcliff, New York. His first fan letter came from an entrepreneur in Singapore.
Wow.
So when you talk about brand visibility, just knowing how to use your book in a way to make people know that you exist is a huge thing. Because once you can start now building that relationship, when they read what you've written, they start to like who you are and what you have to say and what you have to share. And so they want more from you. And so it's an easy next step for them to engage with you, whether it's joining your mailing list or hiring you for a coaching session or whatever else. But there's other things you can do as well, because you had mentioned my book, Published with Purpose, which is an award-winning book. It came out in April. We made it available in every format we could. So it's audiobook, large print. It's not hardcover because it's too small, but paperback, ebook. And when we did all of that, we took it to the next step. We put together an entire virtual summit, much like this one. We had 19 speakers providing 14 plus hours of content, all related to the concepts in the book. Now, you talk about brand visibility. It starts from something really small that people can buy and afford, but then moves on to what more can you do with that? How can you extend it? How can you get other people involved in it? So there's just so much you can do when you have a book, not even getting into speaking engagements,
Sure.
event planners. They want speakers who know their content, and they want speakers who have a message to share. And especially if you can say you're an award-winning author as opposed to just an author, because so many people are authors these days,
Sure.
it makes all the difference.
Well, so there's so much in there that I think is really valuable. And I hope that those who are listening who do not have a book can hear the different ways that a simple book can put a really, almost like light a match and send some sparks through different aspects of your business. But for somebody who might be listening today who is thinking, I don't know if I can write a book, what kind of tip would you give to that small business owner in how to get started?
I actually just did a Facebook Live on this last week on how to write a book when you don't like writing. It can be something as simple as starting just with a mind map. Take that process that you talked about, the transformation from where they are to where they want to be, and jot down those steps. What are those steps? And for each one of those steps, now make 3 to 5 points that you're going to write about in that particular step. What do they need to know? How do they need to do that? And then you can do anything as simple as taking your podcasts and transcribing them. Do your podcasts based on those different steps that you want to hit, and now transcribe them, and then have an editor work that together for you. You can have a book that way. I personally Published with Purpose, it was 77 days from the day I sat down to write to the day the book was in hand, with a forward, with industry endorsements, all of these different things. And the reason a lot of that happened is because I dictated most of my book.
Smart.
So rather than sitting down at the computer and trying to put words on the page, I walked around with my phone, any recording app, any app that you can type with on at least an Apple device. I'm not familiar with Android. There's a little microphone button to the side of the space bar. And if you click on that microphone button and talk into the phone, it will actually transcribe what you're saying. And it's not perfect, but it's pretty darn good. And so you can use that. So a lot of the book that I wrote, I did in that way.
I think that is so smart. I am a speaker first and an author second, but probably like an author fourth or fifth or sixth, because it is not my gift. But when I figured out that trick of dictating, that made everything so much easier. And I do the same thing writing blog posts. I had to write a 2,000 word article last night. And if I had sat down to do that just typing, it would have taken me hours, but it took me about 15 minutes to say 2,000 words. And so I did have to go in and edit it, of course, but I think that's a great tip. And I think that you should use your talents, right? So if you love to write, then write. Get your laptop out and just type. If you are more prone to speaking, audio dictate it or create podcasts, because that is just a great and easy way. Now, we are about ready to close, but before we do, I know in you have one more fantastic tip that our listeners need to hear, especially if they're business owners in preparing for their books. So what is that?
I would tell you always, when you're working through this, make sure that you know what your goals are and what your reader, why they're picking up the book, but also be open to the opportunities that come your way as a result of the book. So for instance, Lionel, he wrote his book with the idea in mind of building his consulting business. An unanticipated consequence of publishing the book was suddenly a lot of universities started to pick up his book and put it in their MBA programs and their marketing programs. And as a result, now you have graduates coming out who know exactly who Lionel Binney is, because they've read his book as a textbook in their course requirements. And so we didn't anticipate universities picking this up at all. And yet when you're open to those opportunities, now he's become an adjunct professor. So at a couple of different universities, and he's teaching from his book. And he has all of these students that are going out and know who he is now. So be open to the opportunities when you do put together a book, because I think it's really important to do that.
That is such great advice. And I think that you think that the book is going to be one thing and then it becomes something else.
Yes.
And that's one of the things that I have loved about writing and publishing, is that it has helped me in the ways that I thought that it would, but it also has opened up doors that I never could have imagined. And so I love this conversation as small business owners who are trying to separate themselves in the industry, and especially in their own niches. Books can be a great way to do that. So we're so glad that you're here with us. But I got a sneak peek about your offer, and I am so excited about it. And so I'd love for you to share. Tell us about, I'm going to spoil it because I'm so excited. The 54 questions to ask your publisher before signing your publishing contract. I wished I had had that many years ago. So tell us where they can get that.
All right. So if you go to emeraldlakebooks.com/questions to ask, just have it all as one word.
We'll put
You'll
that
have the
link in
landing
the chat
page
too.
there. Yep. And so that guide came about because of many times we sat down and had conversations with authors who were considering publishing with us, and we give them kind of a discovery call. Let's talk, see if we're a good fit for one another, but they had no idea what questions to ask.
Mm.
And so it became an education thing of, right, here's what you should be asking, whether you ask us or the next person you talk to, here's what you want to know. And so there are 54 questions that we talk about what the questions are, what the possible answers are, so that you can decide based on what you're trying to do, which publisher makes the most sense for you.
Smart. I love that. And I also, for those of you who want to know more about Tara, I hope that you will go to her website, because if you go to emeraldlakebooks.com/check us out, there is a little special offer that she has there that you can go check out as well. So Tara, thank you so much for being.
I want to kind of clarify what that offer is, because that's our normal landing page to apply to work with us. The special offer, because we really want to reward action takers this year. So the first 10 people who apply to work with us and send us their manuscript for evaluation, if we move forward, we're going to give you a choice of either adding a large print edition to your publishing project for free or getting a 10% discount on your publishing project costs.
Awesome. That is so great. There are lots of different publishing options out there. I have loved getting to know you more, and I feel like if you have a book in your future, you definitely need to check out Tara and Emerald Lake Books. So thank you so much for being on the show with us today. And we hope you have a fantastic rest of the, if you can stick around, you can watch the rest of the summit, but we wish you all the best in your business as well.